On this week's podcast, we are talking with Kyle Kaplanis. He is the head of talent for the talent management agency called Project Z. They represent some of the biggest TikTok creators on the platform, and they have a total following within all of their creators of over 230 million followers. He's a TikTok marketing expert, a TikTok for business marketing expert, a business coach, and a successful podcast host of the podcast called BizTok. And that's TOK. Anyway, we are going to talk with him. He's going to share a whole bunch of nuggets and things, especially if you've never been on TikTok, don't even know what TikTok is. We're going to help guide us through that. He's going to help me and guide me through TikTok too. So I get to be on his show as well, which will be kind of fun in a little bit of time. So we're going to go through this process and he's going to share and show some ways for us. And you will definitely want to listen to this podcast and hear what he has to say. But before we do, I want to mention the iBotta app. This is an app that I've been using for several years now and have saved so much money. Basically, it's a cash back rewards app that I use to make real money every time I shop for groceries, online purchases, and so much more. It's really expanded and grown. And all you got to do is use my referral code by going to peppershock.com/offers and search for the iBotta app. And then at registration, you'll sign up and you'll get some $5 or more credited to your account once you redeem your first offer. It's super simple. All you do is once you're done, you take a picture of your receipt, submit it, and then they rebate you on the things that are on your receipt that they have rebates to offer you. And I have seriously made over a couple $100s on this. I wish I would remember to do it more, but now that I'm doing this, I'm absolutely going to remember to do it every receipt I ever get because I get money back. And then we can actually deposit that money right into my PayPal account. It's actual cash. So the iBotta app, go to peppershock.com/offers and select the iBotta app offer and you'll get money in your account as well, which is pretty cool. So without further ado, I want to give you a marketing essentials moment tip. Did you know that your brand needs to be seen or heard at least 11 to 13 times now before people will acknowledge that they've even ever heard of your brand or have ever seen it before? Because there's just so much noise going on out there. We've got to find a way to make sure that the right people are seeing your brand at least 11 to 13 times, and then they'll acknowledge that they've heard of it or seen of it before. If it's not a direct word of mouth referral, right? So 11 to 13 times they need to see your brand. Otherwise, you can do things to help accelerate word of mouth advertising through ratings, reviews, referrals, rewards, all of the things, recommendations, all of those things that you need. And now let's listen to Kyle, one of the top TikTok business marketing experts out there.
Welcome to Peppershock Media's Marketing Expedition podcast, keeping you up to date with the latest in marketing and advertising. Now here's your host, Ray Allen.
Welcome to the Marketing Expedition podcast. I'm your host, Ray Allen. I'm the president and CEO of Peppershock Media and the founder of the Marketing Expedition community. And today I have a guest. Kyle Kaplanis is the head of talent for the management agency called Project Z. Welcome, Kyle.
Hey, thank you, Ria. Thank you so much for your time. I appreciate you having me on today.
Absolutely. Oh, and it's Ray. I always forget to tell people that it looks like Ria.
I'm so sorry.
You're totally fine. I just my full name is Rayanna, and then when I got married, my last name changed to Allen, and most people just always called me Ray, unless you're my kid.
Yeah, Ray.
Then it's Auntie Ray Ray. Anyway.
Oh, well, thank you, Ray. I appreciate you taking the time today.
Hey, so Kyle, we get to talk about TikTok today and just some success that you're having and some things that you're doing and the people that you're representing and coaching and all kinds of fun things. But first, let's start off with what is TikTok for those who don't know what TikTok is yet? There are a few people out there who still don't know what TikTok is, but let's just give the audience just a general overview of what is TikTok.
Yeah, so it's a social media app that has basically taken the world by storm. I mean, most people have probably heard of it. They've seen the advertisements probably for it. The thing is, a lot of people have misconceptions about it, but I'll touch base on that in a second. It's a short form app. So it's a kind of like Vine was one of the first short form video apps of of social media. But TikTok is now evolutionized it with adding sound bites and music and other opportunities there with effects and things. So it is a short form platform that is just absolutely crushing it and should be a part of people's marketing plans for their building their business or branding. And we'll touch base. But the misconception that I just want to bring up is so many people think of TikTok and they immediately associate it with, oh, it's just teens or it's just lip syncing or silly dancing. But the app has completely evolved. It is really drawn more to the educational spectrum, really good for marketing, and we can touch base way more into that. But that's, yeah, in a nutshell, is pretty much it.
Very cool. And so tell me, you have a podcast too, and you call it BizTok, right?
That's correct.
Okay, so tell me more about what it is that you do with your show, and share a little bit about what kind of nuggets and kind of cool little tidbits that you've learned in doing your show.
Yeah, for sure. So BizTalk is pretty much my business. So my agency side is Project Z, and then my side hustle kind of business is BizTalk. And I decided to kick off a podcast because there's not a lot of people talking too much about the marketing strategy. So what I do is I dive in and talk to other creators, large creators as well. I've had people on there that have 10 million followers. So I talk to creators, I talk to business owners, I talk to small business owners, I talk to entrepreneurs who are using TikTok and learn all the strategies that they're learning and give that back to the people that are listening to my show, so that way they can use those strategies and market themselves on and branding and being able to use it as a platform for that nature.
So I shared with you my son actually had to teach me how to get onto TikTok and what it was all about. He was 12 at the time, he's 13 now. But for somebody who hasn't quite dipped their toes into utilizing TikTok for business, what would you say? What are some things that we can learn from you that would help us if we wanted to expand our network using TikTok?
Yeah, first thing you have to do, this is a must, is consume. I know it sounds silly, like people think, okay, that's easy, but a lot of people don't consume enough and they just dive in and they might make some mistakes. So it's really important to go onto the app, but give it some time, because you have to there's a thing called the For You page on there, and that's the algorithm. So the TikTok algorithm is incredible. Basically, the algorithm will start changing per your likes and interests. So things that you actually like, it'll start giving you more content within that. I always look at it as a short form video of almost like a Pinterest. It's exactly like that. So what I would do is consume content within your niche. So if let's say you're a photographer and you have a photography business, what I would suggest is look up the hashtag photography, find creators who are making content within that business side and start liking that content. Then your For You page will give you tons of that content to be able to see. Then you can kind of see what people are doing, what videos are working well is really important. But to be honest, the reason why TikTok is so great is because it's such an authentic place. So you can actually just show up. You don't have to overthink things. Just kind of be yourself. So that's another thing. Consume content and be yourself. Be authentic as possible, and that really pays off. It's key.
Yeah, you can see what other people are doing and how they're doing it. I feel like I've consumed enough TikTok content to get started, but just haven't taken the plunge yet to figure out what I need to do and how I need to go about it and what's the first thing to do. I have a couple little TikTok videos on there that my son helped me do, but I think it's time, right? So first things first, right?
Definitely.
Understanding all the different features and apps and like the little effects that you can do, and understanding how that works, and attaching it to the music that you can play. And I always with the music, I mean, is there any royalty or copyright infringements or anything like that? I mean, have they just allowed you to utilize their songs without any kind of repercussion?
Yeah. So basically what you want to do with the music, there is a music category and you can pick from all the songs in there. There's still actually issues with music copyright. And the thing is, it will tell you if you did use a song and it will say this audio is no longer available. It's getting a lot better. It used to be way in the beginning because people were uploading their own sounds and then being able to share it around. TikTok is really cutting down on that. So as long as you use the audio that is recommended. So if you do make a video on there, you'll notice when you do hit the sound button, for some people who are not using the app, they might not understand this. But if you do, if you go on there and you hit the sound button, it will give you some recommended options and you can choose from the recommended list, and those will be safe to use. And that's what I prefer. And many people do. Most people that are using TikTok for business do a lot of speaking. So you don't necessarily need to use any of the songs. You can just speak your own voice and be your own sound.
Okay.
So that's really key.
I was worried about that, being in advertising, like I'm always worried about making sure that, we're utilizing either royalty free or copywritten, managed, licensed and music and all those types of things. So that's good to know that there's some recommended songs. Cause the flip side of that though, is like, the Dogface 208 guy that was riding the longboard with his Ocean Spray, Cranberry Spray, and then the Fleetwood Mac song. I guess after that, they had the number, the most downloads they've ever had of that song, just overnight sensation of that music being downloaded. So to some degree, it could be really advantageous for the musicians to want their music to be on TikTok.
Oh,
blow
absolutely.
up, right?
Absolutely. It has actually changed the entire game of the music industry. If you go to the top charts right now, you'll find some artists that you've never even heard about that are just trending on there because of TikTok. And if you look since the TikTok, kind of was popping off, if you go through all the trends, you'll see so many artists that have made it on those top 10 lists that probably would never have had the opportunity to do so. And it is really just taken off. Wow. It's pretty crazy. It's pretty incredible.
So I see here, speaking of kids, right? It looks like you're a stepdad to 4 kids and you've got a daughter that's a TikTok star. Let's talk about that. Tell me more.
Yeah. So my daughter, she's 19. She is a verified creator with 2 million followers. And that's kind of how I got into this whole TikTok thing and starting with the agency and doing the BizTok. I was kind of in the same boat as a lot of people who are looking in on TikTok, like, oh great, just a kids app and there's nothing for anybody else. And I had that same thing. And when she used to make videos, I'd be like, can you turn that down? It's really annoying hearing the same songs. Cause that's one thing on the app, you will hear like the same trending songs a lot. And if you're not used to it, it can be annoying. So I used to be like, go make videos in your room or things like that, until she started growing, and she grew pretty fast. I'd say she hit 10K pretty quickly within only a few days. And that was exciting to us. We were like, hey, this is crazy. But she went from like 10K to 600,000 in about a month and a half, which was just massive. And then from there, it just kept trickling. And now she's at 2 million and still growing. And it has completely changed our life around. I mean, she does this full time. This is a career to her. She monetizes her account like really, really well. It's been able to open opportunities up for me now with the whole agency and helping other creators, being able to now bring my BizTalk career into it. It's been a fun ride for sure.
So what kind of videos does she produce? Like what helped kind of make her that overnight sensation, if you will? I mean, what is it? What are some things that she's done on her TikTok timeline?
Yeah. So luckily it was like right timing, right opportunity. She is a dancer. Right now, if you were a dancer to come on, it is very saturated with dancers. So she was one of the first people that were dancing. In fact, before TikTok, now you can add text and all these features. Prior, there was no extra features. People were writing on a piece of paper to like say their message. So somebody was like, hey, you're a dancer, you should dance on here. And she was like, oh, really? I'd never really seen people dancing. And then she was like, oh, let's make some dances. And so she wrote on a piece of paper, dancing till 10K.
Dancing till 10K. And I was just going to say, and it's an audience that she doesn't otherwise get, because right now stages are closed and, performance, art, theater arts, all of that is closed for the pandemic. So really she does get to have an audience through TikTok, right?
Oh, definitely. Yeah. And it really took off. And I mean, she is a really good dancer. My wife is a dance teacher, so she's been dancing since in the womb, really. And so she's a hip hop dancer. So she's got and she could do like really great shuffling. And so that was really key to her for her growth. Also, I mean, she is a pretty girl. She's got a great style that does help, to be honest. And so it just took off from there. But it's just, people think as well that TikTok creators, they might not look at them in the mindset of being celebrity, but they are the new celebrity for Gen Z.
Yeah.
That's another thing too. Anywhere we go, she gets stopped, photos. We went to a beach it's called Kelowna in BC in British Columbia. We don't know anybody there, but we went to the beach and she had like a lineup on the beach of people wanting to meet her and take pictures. So yeah, it's been very interesting for sure.
Phenomenon. That's awesome. Yeah. So now she's gonna have infamy on being the TikTok star, and like you said, she's monetizing it. So so when you say monetizing on TikTok, right? There's not really ads that you can put on TikTok. So how is she monetizing TikTok?
Yeah, actually through ads. So yeah, advertising is actually it is still trickling in, but she's done many ads. So brands will pay her for a branded post, a content post, and so they can yeah. So she's worked with people like Party City, Spencer's. Um, there's lots of different ones. I work with many creators. One of who has 44 million followers, and he's Michael Lee, and we work with him on tons of branding as well.
But it's
So
traditional 30-second commercial that you're gonna see during the Super Bowl. It's more of like an endorsement, right?
yeah, so I mean, it depends. Each creator has their own thing. The cool thing is that TikTok, they're what they say is don't make ads, make TikToks. That's their statement, right? That's like their tagline, which is really exciting because traditional advertising through TikTok is definitely going away. People are done with the traditional advertising, right? So we need something fresh, and that is all about being organic and being authentic. So, for instance, she could work with a product, let's say, and she will seamlessly put it in and integrate it into the video that's not too salesy. And to be honest, the ROI from some of these campaigns are more than people are getting on Facebook and things like that that are really, that you can really narrow down to find that right audience. But because it's so seamless and it's coming from somebody that people trust, like that's why it's influencer marketing is just huge. But coming from somebody you trust, the people are just going crazy with purchasing and all sorts. I bought more from TikTok than I have from any other social
Wow.
site.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I'm excited to get into it a little bit more. You've inspired me to want to do and see what it's all about and how I can, look at this as another tool, but also just having fun with it, right? I mean, I have watched some videos, and you can kind of, you just sort of, it takes so much, you don't even realize how much time you're spending on watching it and just enjoying the entertainment, right? There's, I mean, a huge entertainment factor,
Exactly.
just an awe factor, and like also just like a holy, what is going on right now? What am I watching? This is crazy. Yeah, that's
Exactly.
some of the
But
crazy.
Ray, the reason why too is that algorithm. It's just huge. So from both a personal and professional, the
Mhm.
algorithm is so great for marketing because let's say you produce content that is talking about your specific niche in business, it's going to push it to those that want to hear that niche of business versus just the whole world. Then you're not going to get the right response. So you're going to get faster responses. You're going to get faster engagement because it's actually pushing to the right people. And on the personal side, like other social medias with their algorithms, you're basically in a pool of the people you follow and share content with, which is a lot of us is like our friends and family, who at the end of the day, if we sat down in a room, we probably don't have that much in common, maybe a small percentage of the things we really enjoy. So with TikTok, their algorithm, it's just geared to us and what we like. So that's why it's very addicting because our For You page will be everything we love. So you can sit there all day. We're on Facebook and Instagram, you might see tons of content you don't really care about, so you just keep scrolling past. But on there, everything you see is just something you enjoy and you're learning from.
You specifically through hashtags,
Mhm.
right? I mean, that's truly the way that it happens is through the hashtags that you're looking for, or that you click and like on, right? Then it's going to serve up more like that hashtag. Is that how it works?
Yeah, so the hashtags actually don't play a huge part in it at all. So the AI technology is all about what's happening in the video. It actually can read and sense and hear what you're saying and can actually filtered through that. You don't even have to use any hashtags and it will get to the right audience, which is crazy.
That is crazy. Oh my gosh. That's
Yeah.
mind blowing. That's the new thing, right? Voice search and AI and watching videos to tell you what it's all about. One of the podcast platforms that we're using now can listen to the voice that I'm saying, and it'll actually score and put images and links to the things that I'm talking about. So very similar. Maybe it's
Oh,
kind of
wow.
TikTok AI going on there. And then it'll
Yeah, for sure.
automatically put those links in. Of course, you can change them and, add your own links and images and whatnot. But our local listenboise.com is a local radio station that invested in putting this platform together with Adori. And it's going to be interesting because podcasts through streaming that you can actually see images and go click on links right away. In fact, this podcast will be
Exactly.
on that
That's
platform, and
huge.
you'll get to see that. But it's fascinating where all the technology and all the things that people are coming up with to be able to do. So, okay, another thing that you have that you talk about is mental health among influencers. Let's talk a little bit about that. What's
Mm-hmm.
on in the world of all the screen time that our people are watching and seeing, and what's happening to the mental health among our influencers?
Yeah, so no, this is really a huge key category. A lot of people don't talk about it enough because they see. So, becoming from the Instagram side where it was so vanity meant, right? Everything was all about you have to look good, this perfect life, and everything like that. I'm grateful for TikTok because it's changing that way. You can still be out. You can be authentic. There's a lot of girls that are just showing up with the messy bun and nobody says anything. You can just show up. But because I live with an influencer and I deal with influencers all the time, I see the repercussions of living that life. So on their videos, they do still have to show up and try to look happy and healthy. And this pandemic obviously has caused a lot of depression issues, but there's sometimes where you don't feel like creating. The unfortunate side is social media is so competitive that you almost feel like you can't take a break because somebody will beat you to that day. Somebody will take your spot that day. So there's so much influencers who just feel like they have to show up. They can't just take a break. If they're having a bad day, they're like, great, I have to make a video. So they have to fake it and go about that. But there's so many creators that they just want to take a break and you're always judged as well. Once you get a following, that's another thing too. Some people are like, they strive for that big following and audience, but it comes with a price. Your responsibility level is now through the roof, depending on how you want to be viewed, because every single thing that you say, do is looked at by thousands or millions of people. So like my daughter can't be a true teen sometimes. She always has to watch what she says to friends. She has to make sure that her pictures are like appropriate because she has kids like that follow her. She can't, like, if she's in public, she has to watch what she does. And so a lot of times we don't think that we disregard that because we kind of live a normal life and we're not being judged. So if we put ourselves in their shoes, we probably would all be feeling a lot of anxiety and depression and a lot of responsibility on our heads. So I like to remind people of that, of next time you see somebody that may be a creator that has done something wrong, or it might be so simple, but we're just like, because they have a big following, we like to just nitpick them, to just think about them for a minute and put yourself in their shoes. And it's probably just a simple error that they're still growing. And a lot of these people are kids, which is, they just don't have a lot of support there. So
Yeah, no, you're right. I don't think a lot of people think about that or talk about, the mental health side of what social media and all the things that can come with that. And you're right. I think people, because they can hide behind the keyboard and screen, or or their phone, they can say things that they otherwise wouldn't normally say to your face, but they can
exactly.
say it through a comment or a blog post or a direct message or whatever. And you're right, it can really affect people.
Definitely.
I think the next generation, right? The younger kids, they're just used to this. They're going to be used to seeing this. And I'll be curious to see kind of the impact that it has later on and how things will change from each generation now that has complete access to all of these things. And, year 2020, the percentage of how much screen time was used was like tripled compared to prior, right? And I'm sure
Right.
TikTok amongst all of that. I mean, looking at the stats, TikTok, Snapchat, Instagram, and now this new Clubhouse, Clubhouse app you're on. Yeah. Let's touch base a little bit about that, because that's a new one that, I mean, I know you talk a lot about TikTok, but let's just touch base a little bit on this new Clubhouse app and what it's all about. It's invitation only. I got my invite. I'm checking it out. What are you using it for, and how are you using it?
Yeah, for sure. So it is also, now that I'm on there, I've been using it. It is a great form of being in your marketing as well. So how I'm using it is it's a really cool platform. It's basically like live radio broadcasting or live podcasts or anything like that. You can jump into different rooms. So let's say, like me, there's a ton of rooms on TikTok. So TikTok marketing, TikTok brand strategy, TikTok, all this is because that's what I like. So I'll join those rooms, and there could be anywhere from, you could even have a room that has like 2 people to 400 or 500 people. And the cool thing is you can go up on stage, they call it, which is like the talking part, and you can just have conversations. But the reason why it's so valuable is when speaking to somebody, you build a connection really fast. It's basically like a networking event. If anybody that's listening now has been to a networking event, yes, you can't see each other, but just speaking to people and being able to go into a room and talk to people that you would never have thought to be able to speak to, it's just so valuable. And you build connections quicker because you are speaking, and you can hear somebody's personality through their voice, and you can understand and relate to them quicker versus just texting. Sometimes the message doesn't come across that well. So on there is just so good. And you can, because you're speaking, you can connect quicker. So you could talk to, I mean, I've been on there before where I've literally spoke to like 300 people in one day.
Wow.
In a matter of just a few hours, which is incredible, and made connections like crazy. Like my email's full. I've booked brand deals even through there because I've met with new people. I've got new clients already. I've connected with some new talent who I'm now onboarding to help them on their management side. Just within, I've only been on the app for about 2 weeks, and already that's how crazy it is.
Yeah.
So
I was invited, and I was like, what is this thing? I don't understand. And then people were talking about it. And then suddenly people like, oh, I want to invite for Clubhouse. I'm like, well, I'm on it. I guess I should figure that out. But the more you engage with it, the more invites you're rewarded to then invite.
Exactly.
And so
Exactly.
That's where I've been. I've just been kind of lingering. I haven't hosted a room yet. I've just been watching and listening. I mean, I did speak up, I was invited to speak, kind of thing, but yeah, so that seems really fascinating for people to be able to find a way to network in a different way. And you don't have to, dress up and
Exactly.
the pandemic pants, I call them, your pajamas.
Exactly.
Nice.
I've been in a few of these rooms where I'm laying in bed, literally like laying down on my side, just like having a chat with people, which is kind of fun. And the cool thing is, like, other people will admit it too. They're like, hey, I'm just in bed right now, but it's fun. You can be a lot more relaxed and comfortable, and there's no pressure of seeing each other. And people on there have been really awesome. Like, I've talked to some people who, if I was trying to reach out to them via email, I probably would get denied because either they didn't know me, or what I was trying to say wasn't, like, they think it's spammy or salesy. So on there, you can actually speak to somebody quickly and get an answer or connect really fast versus just trying to email the old fashioned way. And it's so incredible, I think.
Lots of rooms to join, lots of different interests and like-minded
Tons.
people. That's the thing too. That's really cool, is that it's all about the like-minded people that are a part of it. Right. So that's
Exactly.
the fun part of it. So let's just, backtrack a little bit and talk a little bit more about you and kind of your history and your path and kind of what led you to where you are now. And, TikTok's only been around for a little while. Like, let's kind of take a step back. Tell me a little bit about you and your history and kind of, what made this happen for you.
Yeah. So we touched base on it slightly because of my daughter. So that's how I got into this space of TikTok. But if we go back a little bit further, I was actually, prior to this, I had zero experience with being social media. Like, I did my own social media, but I had zero experience with the management side or anything like that, because I was in a healthcare professional. I was actually a respiratory therapist in Nevada. I worked in Las Vegas, and I worked in Reno, Nevada as well. So like I said, I had zero experiences there, which was pretty incredible. And with my daughter, So like you mentioned in the beginning, I'm a stepdad of 4 kids. So I met my wife through a app called Smeel, which is a online karaoke app, which is pretty crazy. And so we were singing, we were singing on an online karaoke app,
Awesome.
and we were able to connect. And she was living in the UK and I was living in the US. And we talked for 6 months, and I went out to visit her, and I stayed there for a month, and I went home, sold everything I had, packed up all my stuff, and moved to the UK to be with her 2 months later after I visited, and left my job, left everything. Like, I came with a backpack and a suitcase, and we've been together ever since. And this was 5 years ago now. And so all my kids are British, and we're now living in Canada just because I was a Canadian citizen and it was easier for us to move here. And with the healthcare system and everything is very similar to the UK. So we chose Canada. There's more opportunities here for my kids. I wanted them to be in North America. And it worked out because my daughter, being a social media influencer now, is helpful, her being in Northern America, to be able to go to LA and collaborate with other creators. So yeah, it's been crazy.
So do they have an accent then? Is it, accents are depending on where they're from, right? Maybe it's not an accent to you, but is it to an American?
They do. They have obviously my wife's British. My older 2 girls have accents, yes. But being in Canada now for just like a little bit over 2.5 years, they've developed a little bit of a Canadian kind of twang to them. My younger 2 definitely have lost their British accent. They say a few words that are a little bit British. They still say, like, for a sweater, they'll still call it a jumper. They'll still say some of the terminologies, but they lost their accent. So
as doing this podcast, I always have fun listening to all the different accents from all over the world and get to talk to people from every little bit of, everywhere. So I think it's fun to, figure out, okay, where's the accent? Where's it coming from? Where's the influence of that accent? And even in the United States, right? We've got the Southern accent, we've got the New Yorker, we've got,
yeah, exactly.
Coast, right? So it's always fun.
Yeah, exactly. In England, there's tons as well.
Yeah.
Throughout their country. So it's just, it's pretty cool.
So, okay, we talked about TikTok and we talked about Clubhouse. What are some other things that are up and coming that you can think of, like tools or apps that are interesting that you have heard about, or you want to use, or maybe you are using some new stuff? What's trending? What's going to be for the next? What's the next big thing, do you think?
That's a good question. I'm not, because the thing is, I think TikTok and the Clubhouse, I don't know if anybody else is going to be able to come and compete with those 2 right now. So as far as, I think there'll be more tools involved. So I think that there'll be apps integrated to be able to help make better videos or better audio quality as Clubhouse evolves. But I don't know if there's going to be any social platform that's going to really come forward. TikTok's really dominating this space with everything going on. There are other apps that are like Instagram Reels right now is something that's popular and people are talking about as well, which is very similar to the TikTok app. But the thing is, a lot of people who are using Reels right now are getting a ton of growth and getting a lot of reach. So that's really key for businesses as well. If they're already using Instagram, to use that Reels feature on there,
Right.
because you'll get a much better reach.
And Reels is like, Instagram's answer to TikTok to say, well, you're going to do that. We're going to do something similar, but different, and so then, because there's also Instagram TV, but then there's Reels and then there's stories, right? They're all, different kind of ways to use them for sure.
Yeah.
So, okay. I know you produce a podcast and, we're on a podcast. What podcasts do you listen to?
Yeah, I listen to Gary Vee. He's one of my favorites. He's one of my favorite inspiring people that I love. And I also listen to other podcasts within my TikTok kind of niche, just to hear some tips and ideas from other creators. And most of them don't have guests like I do. It's just them talking. They're big creators and they just have their own podcast. And then sometimes I listen to other marketing podcasts that are from other areas of business, just to hear and see how I can kind of develop that and bring it in. And then every once in a while, I'll listen to something that's like out of the spectrum of just being fun. It's usually in like pop culture. So just because it still kind of fits within me and I learn new things, but there's a lot of different creators that are just having really fun content that is out there that I like to listen to as well.
Nice, nice. I always love to ask that question to see what other people are listening to or what other resources or tools that they might have that can help people along in their marketing journey, since we are on a marketing expedition. So, okay, what are you wanting to aspire? Like, what's your next step? What do you want to see happen with your podcast, with your agency? Like, what's going to be like in 5 years from now? Yes, this is what I wanted. What is that?
Yeah, no, that's also a great question. My aspirations would be, hopefully, I'm hoping things go back to somewhat normalcy so we can travel and go out to speak and things like that. I would love to be a speaker at conferences. I would love to be known as a top TikTok marketing expert. Luckily, it's really cool when I go to these groups on Clubhouse. I'm actually viewed by a lot of people, which is really exciting. So I'd love to be invited to places and speak and just be really known in that space as a leading expert. So kind of like maybe like a Gary V in a way, to where he's known in the media and digital media as an expert in that. But I'd love to be known as that, as like the TikTok guy. So when somebody thinks TikTok and marketing, they think Kyle Kaplanis. That's my goal for the next 5 years.
Fantastic. Well, whenever we get to have our conference again, we aren't going to do it this year because I just didn't want to do it on Zoom or virtual event, but we usually put on culture and brand camp, and we do an adult day camp for a day, and we may even expand it to longer, and I bring in awesome speakers and talk about the variety of different things about culture and employees and employee
Oh,
brand.
that's awesome.
And then, kind of what that looks like. And so sometimes we'll have leaders with their teams join us for that and come and listen. And I can't wait until we can do it in person. You just have a day camp on virtual Zoom. We tried it. It was back in May, and I hated it.
Yeah, I know.
You can't, have campfire stories around a virtual, it just doesn't play the same, right?
No, it's not the same at all.
We're waiting to build it to be even bigger and better once we can come back to the real world of, being able to be in person. But as we build it, that would be super fun to have you come and we could do some TikTok video trainings, or we could.
That'd be awesome. I would love it. That'd be amazing.
The thing is, who knows what'll happen in a year from now? And well, usually we do it in May, but we're gonna have to wait until next year, I think. Okay, so a couple more questions for you, and then we'll wrap up. But as far as how people can get a hold of you, what can they follow? Where can they find you? What's your digital footprint that people can, find their path to where they can take to get to you?
For sure. So I'm on a few different things. You could Google the word BizTok and you'll find me right away. You'll see my podcast. You'll find my website.
Yeah, TOK, like TikTok.
Yeah, BIZTOK. Yeah, it's a word on, like, play on words with TikTok. I thought that was kind of smart, and I'm glad I got that first, because I guarantee you somebody have that in their mind later. So you could Google just BIZTOK right away, and Google. I'll pop up in many places. On TikTok, if you want to come find me, I give a lot of insights and things, from brand marketing to marketing tips to just my personal side as well. And you can find me on there as BizToker. So BIZTOKER. And it's because I say, don't just be a TikToker, become a BizToker to talk about your brand and business. And then on Instagram as well, you can DM me over there. I'm Kyle_Kaplanis, my name. Yeah, and feel free to reach out to me through their DMs on there. And if you do want to connect further, you can email me, which is on my website at biztalk.co.
Nice. Okay, so thank you for sharing all of this wonderful TikTok information and all of the things that we need to know and understand, and I feel like I'm missing out. So I got to get on there and do some more TikToking. I'll have to go find you and follow you, or do you say follow? Do I follow you on TikTok?
Follow.
Follow. Okay. Cause with LinkedIn, it's like connecting and followers and friending on Facebook. I mean, everybody has their own way of
their own thing. Exactly. Subscribers on YouTube. Yeah.
Yeah. Snapchat. I don't know. Anyway, yeah. And you got to snaps on Snapchat. Anyway, all the terminology, got to get it all correct. But this has been super
Yeah.
helpful for me, and I'm sure for all of our listeners that are yet kind of thinking about what it would be like to be on TikTok, and some things that they can use in getting started. So I really appreciate your advice and some little tips and tricks and tools that we can use for that. Okay, last question. Are you ready?
Yep.
Okay. So I know that we talk about all the things that your creators have done and all the things that you have done. How do you best market your business if you're not on TikTok? There's a challenge for you. What are you doing
No, that's great.
TikTok to get out there? Your podcast one, TikTok two. What else? Or maybe vice versa, TikTok one, podcast two. What else are you doing to promote your brand and your business and your agency and all the things that you do?
LinkedIn, easy. LinkedIn is a huge, I think it's sometimes it's overlooked, but it's massive in this space. My podcast is actually trending quite high within countries. I'm even in the top 5 overall podcasts in some countries, which is really exciting because of LinkedIn and my reach on there. If you connect with the right people and network on there correctly, you can reach a ton of people within your niche and market and get the thing. But that's what I'm doing as well. So my strategy is literally TikTok, LinkedIn, and now Clubhouse. Those are the 3 tools that I think anybody, if you're using those, the traditional ways of Facebook ads and stuff, you can do all that stuff, but I use those 3. That's free. It literally doesn't cost me anything but a little bit of my time, and I'm getting some huge results. So
excellent. I love to ask people what they're doing for their own brands as much as they are in helping other people. So thank you so much, Kyle. I really appreciate it. And thanks for having the show. And we'll have to be in touch, and I'll be able to be a follower of yours on TikTok, and we'll get
definitely
up and running. And I'll give you credit where credit is due once I figure this whole thing out.
definitely. And I'll follow you back, and I'd be glad to answer any questions you have along the way.
Excellent. All right. Well, thanks so much. And for you, those of you listening, of course, reviews are always great currency for us. So we encourage you to give us reviews on the Marketing Expedition podcast on whatever platform you listen to, and share it with others, because that helps us all. Right, Kyle?
Absolutely. 100%.
All right. Well, until next time, enjoy the journey.
Thanks for listening to the Marketing Expedition podcast. Find more online at peppershock.com. Wouldn't it be great if there was one place you can go to get all the latest information and tips about marketing and advertising? The Marketing Expedition community is that place. People like you gather in our online community to build relationships with others and find the latest marketing trends, tactics, tools, and technology. We help you build your brand and your bottom line. Start your adventure today. Visit themarketingexpedition.com to find out more.